Hey, I'm live and going on real quick here. Wayne is going to turn himself into prison in a few hours. Find out exactly what time. He over at Colorado Springs, getting out of the shower at his hotel, and he's gonna leak on here in just a minute. I'm gonna play you my little intro. I'll tell you all about Florence Federal Prison Complex, FBI. Oh, wait, is he coming in? I hear it beeping. Well, let's see. He should be coming in any minute, and here's a little jingle, and I'll be right back after these messages. Get the right one there. Is that it? Okay. Sometimes I was thinking about my life, wondering where did I go wrong. Sometimes I start to wonder. Well, all right. So that's a song I wrote at Florence Federal Prison Camp. FPC stands for camp. There's a lot of abbreviations for federal systems. There's a minimum. There's a low security. There's a minimum adjacent satellite camp. There's a minimum camp. There's an adjacent camp. There's a satellite camp. They all mean the same thing. Low is different from minimum. And so it goes minimum, low, medium, high, basically. Penitentiaries are called USPs, United States Penitentiary. FCIs are federal correction institutions. They're usually mediums, but not necessarily. And there's like MCCMs or MCC, MCF. M means medical, and it's some kind of medical facility. And you don't want to go to one, guys. That's their version of, oh, you're too sick and ill to go to the hospital. We've got a hospital prison. We'll send you there. Goodbye, because you're not coming back. Really, most people die in those places. Unless you got a real short sentence, but you're probably going to come out with worse health care than you had when you go in. And Wayne, I'm going to give a call here. Let's see. And I got no BOP. Oh, and no BOP. All righty. Hey, what's going on, man? What's going on? I'm going to call Wayne. And I also got a live hookup today. If you want to call in, I'll put the number on the screen. Let's see how it works. How did I call him? He was getting out of the shower. Last night he had trouble hooking up because he didn't have his two-step verification password, crypto, four-step key tag, all this stuff to log on. It's so difficult to log on the internet now, man. It's getting to be a royal pain. Let me call him here. And we'll see if it's ringing. Should be ringing. Let me know if you guys can hear that. I can hear it. Hey, man, I'm on the show. I didn't know if you had problems linking in or you got the link. Take your time, though. Oh, isn't it 8:15? Yeah, I got. I said it for 8:15. Let me see what it says here. I did say 8:15, and I got 8:07. My bad. Take your time, man. My thing was. Yeah, not a problem. I'm just gonna chat a little bit about Florence. And my bad. I see what happened here. Not a problem. You bet, man. All right, guys. Oh, I said one timer for 8 o'clock, one timer for 8:15. You know what I mean? What can I could like hang up on you guys and come back in 7 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I already got started. I want to maybe talk to some of you guys. No BOP, he says. Let's put the whole thing on the screen there. Found out I'm going to found out I'm going to Oxford FPC. So let's pull that up. Let's go take a look at that. I've got two screens here, so let me just go over here and do the BOP. So anybody that's getting ready to go to federal prison, I'm your travel agent, man. No, really. If you're going to self-surrender to a prison, you're probably out on pretrial and you're probably hearing me or watching me. The chances are probably 99% you're going to self-surrender. I don't care what you hear, what the lawyers say. You're already out. You've proven yourself. I mean, sometimes you'll mess up along the way and you violate something and we're not so sure. He might run now. Okay, that could happen. But let's say everything remains the same as it is today. When you finally get sentenced, you can actually request where you want to go. If you're going to a low or a prison camp. Now, I just heard about a guy in the comments. He told me he did self surrender to a medium. That's the second one I've heard. So that could happen. Um, the paperwork I got for FCI Florence, mobile mindset I have it actually. Haha, I have it. I have it. Let's see here. Here's all my prison papers. It says FCI Florence. And I went to the camp. You see, the FCI is like the main hotel where you check in. It's not where you're going to stay. They're going to check you in and walk you over to the camp. Anyway, let's pull up your Oxford. Let me go to BOP. I'm doing too many things at once. That's okay. BOP. I just put up BOP. And it always comes up inmate locator. That's okay. I click that. It takes me right there. And if I want to look up the inmate, I can. And there we go. So let's pull this over here. And let me share this with you guys. And just for you, no BOP, we're going to see what we can dig up on Oxford. And I don't think it's that fancy college in England, is it? No. Let's see here. Present. And share the screen. And baby steps, share the screen. BOP. Tire screen, yes. Screen 1. And it should be doing it, but I hit that. Okay. Let me see one more thing. Screen 2. And there we go. Ha 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 ha. And I did my screen bigger so I can see. And so this is what it'll look like, guys, when you type in BOP. So I'm just going to click the inmate locator. It's going to take me right there. Click the big thing. And it's trying to connect. Find an inmate. You want? I'll look up myself just so you guys know how to do it. I'm going to put my name. You can do it by name or by number. You don't need to put the race and all that stuff. You probably don't even have to put your first name. I mean, yeah, your first name. But, Wayne's calling me now. Hello, Wayne. Hello.
I didn't get the link.
Oh, you did it? I'll send it right now. I sent it from a different phone number, maybe.
Oh, man, let me see.
I sent it to your phone.
No? I haven't gotten anything.
Okay. 1 second here. This second, I'll give it right to you. All right, guys, that's how Find an Inmate works. And it says I was released 12/23/2019. All right, let me get Wayne here going. 1 second here. Invite. Okay. Hey, you wouldn't want to give me your email, would you? Because to send it to your phone, I have to email it to myself. Then go on my phone and get my email from my phone. You know, unless you know a way to email to a phone from a laptop. Do you?
Well, I just sent you my email to your phone. It's you can see it on your phone. Mitolytics@gmail.
Okay. So again, let me do the phone thing. I know there's a way to email from a laptop to a phone, but where they used to be. 1 second here. All right. Yeah, all right. Invite guests. 1 second here. Gmail.
It's
no, don't. Yeah, don't say it too loud. I got it on my phone, and I'm just waiting for it to.
Okay.
My internet, I'm running straight off the Ethernet, and it's still loading slow. Come on, let's go. Almost there. I'm just waiting for the StreamYard part to load to send it. Huh. Any second now. Hold on. Technology is sleepy this morning. There we go. All right, now just put in your email. POLY. Okay, at Gmail. One second. Okay, there we go. And I sent it to you. You should get it on your email. That should be faster to log in, hopefully. And then we got to do two-step verification like 5 times. Kidding. You should have it there.
I haven't got, hold on.
Okay.
Oh, there it is.
All right, cool. I'm going to hang up on you.
All right,
I'll see you in your room. Hey, no BOP. So I want to look up Oxford for you. Let me hang up this phone. I got cheap technology going. This is a Obama phone, a company called Q-Link, lets you take your old number. And that was a big mistake. I thought I'd save money. This phone is like 1983, keeps calling me saying, yeah, we lost our phone. Do you have it? It takes that long just to do something on it. Anyways, sometimes you get what you pay for. If you don't pay for anything, you really get what you don't pay for. He'll be coming in the room any minute. And then no BOP. Let me see what I'll pull up here on the side. And I'll pull it on the screen if I can. So a little thing called locations. And it has a list. And they got a lot of, let's see, Oxford. No P, Oxford FCI. And it's a FCI Oxford, a medium security federal correctional institution with an adjacent minimum security satellite. And I think it says camp. I got my zoom too high. I'm getting old, so I blow it up. I didn't hear the word blow up, YouTube. They scan, satellite camp. Let me see if I can just slide this over on the screen real quick. And it's got the population is 1,241 total inmates. It's split up. 1,149 inmates at the FCI and 92 inmates at the camp. Oh, it's a little camp. That means you're gonna be working, unless you got an excuse to get out of work. You'll be working. That's not a lot of programs in 92. The budget. It's just our camp had between 400 and 500. We didn't even have that many programs all the time, but we had enough. So yeah, programs, classes, man. You're gonna have to take everything you could possibly get your hands on, man. They're gonna be like gold over there. So let me share this screen here. Did that. And just pop up there. There we go. And this is FCI Oxford. So you gotta watch for Wayne coming on here. The show's really about him today, guys, not about me, but it's always about you. No BOP, and we don't want no BOP, do we? So Oxford, here's a picture of the door. This is the probably a picture of the FCI, which is a medium. And here we go with the, there confusion. A medium security federal correctional institution, FCI, with an adjacent minimum security satellite camp. I will explain that. Adjacent means next to a bigger prison. Minimum is the lowest. The minimum is the smallest you could possibly get. Security, well, that means it's a security satellite camp. There are maybe 2 camps I heard that have fences. Yeah. And they're really weak fences. This could be one. They're using security because it'll say usually adjacent minimum satellite camp. A satellite means like you've got the moon that revolves around the earth. That's a satellite. So this camp revolves around the bigger prison and the word camp. I hope that explains it all. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Call me now live, or leave it in the chat room. And let's see here. I'm going to put up the live number to call here in a minute. Wayne should be clicking in a minute. Buddy, he said he got the link, so we shall see. And he's getting ready. He's got like 2-3 hours, and he's in He's in Colorado Springs. He's got to drive to Florence. It's at least an hour drive, because that's what it was for me. And here he comes. Here he comes. All righty.
I used an alternate
And he's
email.
on. You did it, man. You did it. Right before prison.
That's right. That's right. Sorry, not so tech savvy.
Really, nowadays it's changing. It's always changing. You got to keep up with the times.
Yeah.
I remember a day they promised me everybody will have their own computer in their hands. Everybody will. Little kids.
I remember that.
I said, "No way, a computer." Well, I got 2 of them. One's real cheap, but yeah, that day came true. So I bet you said one day you thought I bet there was never a day you thought you were going to go to prison, was there?
Nope.
And that's what I brought you on here for today, because tell them it can happen to anybody, right?
It can definitely happen to anybody. Even it's an interesting story, because back in 2019, I was notified that I was being investigated for fraud. I'm a biologist. I developed biomolecules. We had medical clinics in several locations. I had doctors working for me, a staff of, if you combine them all from the Caribbean staff, I had probably 50 people working for me. We were in multiple countries, a thriving business.
This is all during the pandemic too?
Yeah. Well, yeah. 2019. No, it was June of 2019. So it would have been just prior to I don't remember. Yeah. But 2019. And so, fraud, because after all, if you're using non-conventional methods for helping people with cancer, autoimmune disease, neurodegenerative disease, that type of thing, obviously you must be a fraud, right? So
we know so much about cancer. Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting, because it was really 3 years of governmental persecution and really kind of threats to indict. It was always right around the corner. Oh, we're getting ready to indict. And I never did get indicted, because it ended up in a misdemeanor charge. But, it's unfortunate for those out there that didn't have the financial resources that I had. I had the best, attorneys in Washington, D.C. that money could buy. They were, if I got on the phone with them, I think one of them was $1,400 an hour, and one of them was $1,200 an hour. So if I had a phone call, it was $10,000.
Really? That's more than a lawyer charges.
Yeah. Well, they were lawyers, and they do charge that much.
I meant it's more than your bait. Yeah, I know they're lawyers. That's a category. Most lawyers are $200-300 an hour.
Yeah.
And they don't give you the whole hour on the phone either.
Yeah, exactly. So they just couldn't. It was really interesting, because the mindset is that it must be a fraud, and I truly believe that that the attorneys for the government, that the U.S. attorneys thought that it must be a fraud, because there were claims, and we were generating, curative, remedial type of outcomes across a broad range of pathologies. So essentially, when I was notified they were going to pursue me for fraud, we immediately began defense preparation. And of course, the U.S. attorney said that I wasn't even allowed to communicate with clients. And my attorneys were like, "What are you talking about? He's in defense preparation mode." Sure. And he said, "I don't care if he even talks to a client, we'll arrest him."
Yeah, they'll do that. Obviously, you can't talk to your wife. I had a fiance, wasn't allowed to talk to her. I mean, people can't talk to their children. They can't talk. Yeah. You're not allowed to face your accuser in the federal courts. That page of the Constitution, I missed that day of school, but
yeah.
Again,
yeah. It was a complete denial of due process rights, and so. But we put together. I had just the first 85 clients that I talked to were witnesses for the defense. The government ended up having really only 2 actual clients, 2 out of 16,000. That's all they could find. And these were people that were just disgruntled because they didn't have success on our program. Naturally, you're going to have, people that don't succeed on your program, right? So what's really interesting though, is this whole thing began with, one morning we woke up to just the amount of disinformation that we found from one day to the next, all of a sudden, these forums and these websites that were like fake Wikipedia sites were just flushed. They were flushed out with all this propaganda. So we actually hired, saying that this was a scam, that, you know, that our biomolecules were just water. I mean, keep in mind, these are
not sugar water, just water. Yeah.
Just water. Now, keep in mind, we're conducting third-party university studies confirming the you know, viability of and the effectiveness of the things that we were using. So we were studying them at universities with third-party researchers, PCR studies, genetic studies, a whole host of studies.
And your books were kind of open for people that wanted to see details.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. We were in the universities interviewing the researchers at the university, talking about how it was the most revolutionary thing they've ever seen. And so all this disinformation came and showed up online, and it was a well-organized propaganda campaign. My question was, who would do this? Like, why? I mean, who would have the incentive to go do it?
Not the greatest country in the world, and the people behind that couldn't be them.
Well, what we found out.
I hate to say that, but you know, the grand juries that you never get to meet, and these prosecutors and all these people that meet behind your back and then tell you you're guilty, but we give you a chance to prove yourself innocent. It just, I don't see the just in it. But
yeah, exactly. So we ended up hiring a what they call a digital forensic security firm out of Israel. And they came back in a few months, and they basically said, here's the lowdown. A couple pharmaceutical companies that I won't name, the largest in the world.
You're spending all this money for defend yourself too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I spent everything. I mean, it's just they emptied the accounts ultimately when we reached the conclusion. But this firm came back and they said, what happened is 2 pharmaceutical companies were doing disinformation on a variety of non-conventional organizations. And since we were one of the largest out there, we were targeted. And all the propaganda that was being created was, these were people that were being paid to write and fabricate propaganda. They're very good at it. And
I think so, yeah.
So interestingly, so after they created the propaganda, they consolidated it into a fake dossier. You've heard of fake dossiers.
Yeah,
before,
I remember,
right?
Trump. They were always having a fake dossier.
Exactly. And they sent it to the FDA, and the FDA ran with it.
So no prosecution for them, no indictment for them, no prison time for them.
Right. They just ran with fake information saying, oh, you know, this is water. This is imagine just a bottle full of liquid, and that we spent untold of amounts of money researching and developing by third-party universities. So we had all of the ammunition. We had when the government went and interviewed the researchers at the university, what they said is everything we said in the video is true. It's revolutionary. We've never seen anything like it. It worked. It was a double-blind study measured against water as a control, and here the government was claiming that it was water. So eventually, after about 3 years of proffers where we were presenting, because the government was more than happy to allow me to spend my money to show them that they didn't have a case, because
they can't get you one way, they get you economically because they know it's going to drain you. Sure, yeah.
You're guilty,
tarnish your reputation and all that stuff. So
in the United States, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, like I said, you're supposed to be able to face your accuser, jury of your peers, reasonable doubt to prove you're innocent, not a reasonable doubt to the grand jury. So they, you know, beyond a reasonable doubt, all they need is just like a theory. I want to say a hunch will get you indicted from some kind of police officer. Just a thought that I think he's conspiring to sell fentanyl or something. That's all they need is just a conspiracy. They always go to the conspiracy if all else fails. And, it just drives me crazy. And then you get a chance to prove your innocence. But, you know, a lot of people, some get locked up, some are on pretrial with an ankle bracelet. Some are not. How long were you on pretrial?
Well, I mean, I don't know what you mean. The whole thing was pre-trial because it never went to trial, and they never indicted me.
Oh, you never got indicted. Oh, okay, so they held on to that.
We ultimately, once we presented our case, and these were meetings where an entire team of my attorneys would fly down from Washington, D.C., sit with the government for the entire day presenting our evidence. So eventually the government just knew that they would lose if we went to trial. They knew it.
Well, they don't have to drag things on, and they don't like to be the laughing stock if the press does choose to do a story about that.
Yeah. So ultimately what they got me for was a labeling violation. A labeling violation, there are three components to that. And this is a misdemeanor, Class A misdemeanor. Number one is that there was a mistake on the label, like the wrong address or something like that. Number two was manufacturing outside of a FDA approved facility.
Oh, how dare you.
And we had, I mean, okay, so yeah, I'm guilty as charged. And then the third one was misbranding, which misbranding is somebody that's sick is using your product that's not approved as a drug, and they're getting better. Remember, if they're not getting better, it's fraud. If you cure them, it's still a misdemeanor.
Yeah, somebody's got to control that, and they don't want it to be you if it's a cure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. Then I went before a judge that was a woke judge. That if you're a white American male, you're guilty.
Yeah, the white privilege in the federal judicial system nowadays. Yeah, there's no privilege.
Now, having said that, Sean, it's important to emphasize that I am very grateful that I'm only going in for 30 days, and I recognize that. There are people that, I mean, can you imagine had I not had the resources, I would have never been able to stand up against these guys, and I would be going in some
kind of aggravated identity theft, something with a 2-year minimum, something they would have done something like that.
Right.
Yeah, they would have. You're very lucky you were able to afford all that, because in their mind they're winning on several levels. It's like a chessboard, like a 3D chessboard, and they're winning on all kinds of angles. They're ruining your reputation, your company, your finances, your bank account, your friends, your family, and we're going to throw you in prison as an added bonus, a little icing on the cake.
Yeah. And they were like, listen, it was crazy. We had people that were on hospice care that were dying, that were discharged from hospice, and a year later they were running marathons. I'll give you a quick example of how crazy it was. Even when we were in the sentencing hearing, this is for the misdemeanor, the feds, the U.S. attorney stood up and said, he was trying to swindle people. And so they used an example. They said, there's a guy who was on hospice care, and he received no benefit. And they named the guy. That was the worst person they could have chosen, because that was a guy that was on hospice care dying. 6 weeks later was discharged from hospice.
Oh.
Six months later, or up to, I think it was actually about like 9-10 months later, he was being interviewed by Forbes magazine as a miracle cure. HBO did a show on him, and he wrote a book thanking me for curing him and saying I owe my life to Dr. Smith. Well, they picked the wrong witness, but the judge
that was her witness.
But the judge didn't even care that they were lying. The judge just didn't even care. And then when the judge, so essentially the sentence came down 30 days, and my attorneys are like, well, how about just home confinement? I mean, it's 30 days, first offender. And the judge turns to the prosecutors and says, what do you want to do? The prosecutors then said, no, we want him to go to jail. And so I'm going to jail for 30 days based on a decision of the prosecutors, not the judge. So they can
do that. They'll let them decide sometimes too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now, you say jail, you're actually going to prison. Jail would be a lot worse than prison. You don't want to go to jail. You're going to a prison camp. No, it's night and day. You'll be outside, and I'll tell you about Florence in a minute. But jail is completely different. Did they lock you up at all in a detention, a holding cell, or anything at any point during this?
Never.
So you've never had a pair of handcuffs on you and been in a little square room with 8 different guys waiting 10 hours for somebody to maybe bring you a bologna sandwich. That's jail. No chair, no blanket, no nothing. So jail's a pretty bad place. So you get to bypass all that. It makes me wonder, these judges, these prosecutors, all these federal employees, I would like to be able to vote for them in the country. You know what I mean? We don't get to vote for those kind of people. So, that never changes. That system is just, maybe if we could vote for all them, there might be a chance to change because there's a lot of injustice, I think, especially what you just described. But there's a lot of justice too. There are people that I know that I believe should go to prison, and for a long time, I believe that too. They're the ones going to the penitentiaries and stuff, but there's just such injustice. And all I can do is voice my opinion on here, but I know a lot of people feel the way I do. And
I am guilty of the misdemeanor, so I have no problem living up to that. It's just, having been in that system where this is a game of can we chalk another W up in our column, regardless of what the facts are, regardless of the fact that we had witness after witness after witness that came forward and said, hey, I had this disease, I did the treatment, this was my outcome. We had medical records on a pre-post basis on we had a database of something like 60 gigabytes of data just on medical records. So it was quantitative data. It wasn't qualitative, proving that we had effectiveness in the use of our protocols on behalf of these individuals. But
I think it almost pisses a prosecution off more when you shove all this evidence in their face that they're wrong. I think they just get more angrier. That's maybe why they let the judge let them decide and give you some. I feel for you. But when you get to Florence today, nobody's really going to feel for you. 30 days, that's like you blink and the guy's gone. Some guys will be nice, and I told you to go to the chapel for your brothers will be over there. They'll help you out. But most of them aren't really going to spend any time. They're going to say, how long are you here for? I'm here for 30 days, and they're going to go, bye. They're not. Normally, they're going to bring you shower shoes and shampoo and a Snickers bar or something, and see if you need anything and show you around. 30 days, it's just not worth an investment. You know what I mean? But there'll be a few, and like your brothers are talking about, they'll have some welcome kits for you. You'll find them in the chapel. But when you get to Florence, you're going to see one part of it. You're going to see a lot of dogs. There's a little fence with all these dogs and little ramps and stuff that the dogs train on. Your people's over there. They're pretty much run that program. Just walk over where the dogs are, and you get to do that. You can walk anywhere you want in that camp, and all your brothers are going to be there. So.
Well, I have you to blame for the fact that I'm excited to go this morning.
All right. What time you going there? What time you got to be there?
As soon as we're done here, I'm just going to leave. I want to get there early. Like you mentioned, getting there early might give me an advantage just in terms of getting processed quicker.
Yeah, because it's Friday, and they're going to do a change of guards and all this stuff, and they want to have their lunch. And if let's say you showed up at 2:00, there's not the swing shift just came in. They're going to sit you there. You know what? They're going to throw you in the shoe across the street at the medium until Monday. So yeah, if you get there in the morning, you'll be in and out. 45 minutes. You'll be all dressed out and everything. You'll be over at the laundry room getting your clothes. You'll have a blanket, a pillow, all this stuff, and they're going to say, "See that building over there? Go up there, 3rd floor, Unit C, and go see your counselor, and you're all good." And you'll actually get your ID number and everything, so you can use the phone. You'll probably get that within the first 2 hours there. When you go early, you get these little benefits. They don't sound like much maybe to somebody else, but who wants to wait till next Tuesday to use the phone?
Right.
And you get 500 free minutes every month on that phone. You talk for 15 minutes, and then it's going to cut you off for an hour, and then come back. And there's about 10 pay phones in every building. There's usually not a line for the phones, except for maybe during the holidays.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Now I'm excited. I'm excited for the experience, but I'm excited because I'm doing 30 days. So, I have a lot of empathy for most of the typical guys that you'd be working with that are going to be going in to do some time. But I love the fact that you know, that your show emphasizes the fact that, you know, this is a pretty, you know, good option. It's advantageous to go to, you know, a camp like this. So
yeah, if you're going to go to prison, you want to go to a federal prison, and if you're going to go to a federal prison, you want to go to a federal prison camp. Really, that's the best you can actually get, other than home confinement. State prisons have some fire camps that are close call, but Florence, I think Florence is a great place. If you're in a camp, but they are going to make you work. It's a work camp, and they have jobs at driving to town. Some people go mow the lawn around City Hall at the little town of Florence. They do all kinds of stuff around, you know, the city structures. They come home at the end of the day. There's the Supermax about a half a mile away. I was over there feeding the Unabomber, the Boston Bomber, you know, the Shoe Bomber, all that. We made their trays. I started off as a dishwasher. There was a culinary school there. Have a few certificates on the wall. I think I got 34 certificates from Florence. And some of them there's a serve safe that costs probably $1,500 on the outside to get for restaurants. One employee or manager has to be certified by it's a nationwide certificate. It's still good for one more year. So, I mean, some things are well worth pursuing in prison. You're not 30 days, maybe take a couple classes at night. A lot of them are taught by inmates. If you were there longer, they would want you to teach. There were some science guys that taught science stuff there. I took all their courses too. Geology and inmates are amazing in the federal system, how smart and intelligent they are. Of course, not smart enough to stay away from prison, but you can learn a lot from the classes that the inmates teach at night.
Hey, do you think that since I'm going in for 30 days, do you actually think I'll get a job?
No, maybe they'll have you clean bathrooms or something. It's going to take a week or two till you have an orientation. That's where all the new guys come and they sit you down in the auditorium, and every different staff member from every different department is going to come up and give you the spiel on the prison. The warden's going to come up. They're going to go over all the rules. It takes 2 to 4 hours. Once you have that, then you can have a job. Your case manager or your counselor will just assign you, here, you're going to wash dishes for the next 2 weeks. They may not have openings. Who knows?
Well, let me ask you this, because I have what I was hoping is that I didn't have a job, because I have a lot of work material that I have to go through that I've had sent to the prison already, that it should arrive there, you know, in the next couple of days. Is it worth mentioning to them that I could potentially keep busy with my work stuff, or do they not care?
You know what? They're probably going to tell you, yeah, you could probably finish all your work. Why don't you apply for an extension so you can stay a little longer to finish that? Really, that's probably going to be it's going to be an answer like that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know.
So what is it if I do work? Is it an 8-hour work day? Is that?
No, most jobs are 6 hours, but there's little jobs like cleaning bathrooms might be an hour a day, and that's it. Maybe some jobs are 8 hours. The warehouse jobs, laundry rooms, most are 6. A lot of jobs in the food in the like the dining room and stuff are 4-hour jobs. They got
and how many days a week typically?
5 days a week.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's some jobs you could take a teaching job. I don't know if you want to for 2 weeks or 3 weeks after you get your orientation. They might have you. Well, it's not really long. They usually want you to teach for 3 months on one class, but I'm guessing they're going to have you doing food service, probably emptying trash cans or washing dishes or cleaning bathrooms, because you're not there long enough to get anything decent. You know, that's my guess. Unless
Gotcha.
you have a medical excuse, do you?
Well, I mean, I have bilateral osteoporosis, but I didn't bring any of my medical records or anything. So
okay, if you have prescriptions, bring those. But the doctor's going to tell you on something like that to walk the track and drink lots of water, and you'll be fine. It's great medical system. No, the doctors actually they talk to you, and you almost feel like they care. And then a week later, they come back with all the regulations, the red tape, why they can't do anything they promised you.
You're right. Exactly.
You can bring shoes if they're cheap Walmart ones without any markings on them, depending on who's doing your intake. There's some of the staff members are friendly. Some hate their job and they hate you. So,
right.
treat
And
them
I
all
did
with
that.
respect.
I took your recommendation on that. Bought the Walmart shoes, so I've got those on my feet.
Okay. You can bring religious items under $100. How they value that is whoever is holding it gets to choose if it's under $100 or not. So,
Right.
plenty of the triples over there in the chapel, like I was telling you. So I don't want to get too much on this channel, but somebody read into that. And,
Right.
lots of services every day of the week, different hours for all. I think there was maybe 18 different types of religious services there, and they always open the new ones. There was an AA meeting that I started, and hopefully it's still going on there. And let me see, lots of baseball games are happening now. The gymnasium's pretty big, had lots of equipment, indoor and outdoor. Probably, I think everything's open now. A music room, a law library, an arts and crafts, a hobby room, 2 or 3 classrooms that they teach different things at, and then outdoor tables for everything from Monopoly to, whatever you can think of. Pinochle, they do it all. And there used to be a tennis court there. I think they were getting that ready again. And you can order the rackets on a special hobby magazine, and it's club fed. And no swimming pool though. But baseball games in prison are, man, the best baseball game I've ever been to is one in prison. Try one out. You'll be there long enough.
That's fun.
I mean, it's exciting. I was in the stands, and you're just yelling and screaming at everybody. And the good thing about a camp is you're not going to get beat up unless you really, really go looking for it. The politics aren't there. If you sit at the black table, that's fine. But they want you to be invited, but you get to really wherever you want, and nobody's going to try to manipulate you. Or, well, in a way they might manipulate you, but that's kind of on the white collar kind of manipulate you. They want to be your friend so you'll buy them things later. But there's those guys, but really the politics aren't there like a prison. You don't have to watch your back, watch somebody else's back. Drop the soap, and you know what? Nobody's going to pick it up for you. You're on your own. Nobody will care. So, you'll be safe. Safe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I'm excited to actually get up there, have the experience, and 30 days, obviously, it goes by quick. So, but
check out the law library and what's going on at the chapel. You'll see things in there, and then just the general recreation room. It's the big giant TV room, and like I said, a hobby shop, music room, and all that stuff. And they even have pool tables there. They got a pool table room. They have 2 pool tables, and it's its own little room. So there's a lot going on there. Just have fun and relax. Get in shape. Work on your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and talk to whatever forces out there that you know are listening, man, and you'll come out a better person. You really will.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate everything you've done. Your channel's great. I hope it grows. So we got to get the subscribers built up. But I think the information that you cover is invaluable. So it really does help somebody like me get a really good feel for what the experience is going to be like.
Did you write down your passwords and your usernames and all that stuff for your Gmails and Ymails and all that?
Yeah, I've got them that's a good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I actually have them on my phone, so I got to transfer them over. And
that could change. You never know. You just had to change one 2 days ago. Will you remember that 40 days from now when you're out? You might not. So write it down.
So as far as the email communication thing, I guess, like, for instance, my wife would get on her end, set up her account on that site, and then I would set up one and link my Gmail account to it. Is that how it works?
Yeah. So you don't actually get a email address of your own. It's not going to be like steve@florence.com. You're not going to get that. You're going to use what they call true links, and she's going to use what they call core links. Why there's 2 different names of companies, just there is. But your case manager is going to give you like a 12-digit user number. There's a fingerprint device on it, and you see these little terminals. They're all over all the TV rooms and a lot of library. There's at least 5 in every room. So you sit down, You put your fingerprint on there, you put your user number on there, and you put your password. It's going to let you in, and it's all only text, but you're going to send an invite to your wife. It's going to ask you for her name and phone number and address. You can put any address down, really. That's only approval for mailing letters. But say you put Linda Smith at 222, Holly Road, New York, New York. It's fine. You'll get approved in about 10 minutes to send her the email. So she'll get a link saying you have an invite from TrueLinks. It's a federal prison, inmate email system. She'll say yes or no, and you'll get an answer saying she has accepted your invite, and now you can both communicate.
So where does the Gmail come in?
There is no Gmail.
Then why do I need my password for the Gmail?
Oh, so when you get out of prison, you can log into all your accounts. You know how anything that you want to log into.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I have all my emails set up on my phone. So as soon as I get out, I'm sure they're just going to give me my phone, and then I'm on my way. I can just turn the phone on and use my because I have a phone that that's fully active.
And you're not in there a lot, but a lot of guys get out a year later or something, and they can't access their Facebook. They can't access. There's important things on their email that they were saving, and their phone. They don't have that phone number anymore. So now they can't. The two-step verification. There's even a website. I went to the Facebook building myself, Google itself, into their office and told them I got out of prison 3 years ago and I can't access anything. So they took a copy of my ID and stuff, and they gave me a special password and stuff to open all my accounts. It was nice.
Oh, that was nice.
I lived real close to it, so I had that luxury.
Yeah. Well, let's do a follow up for your audience in 30 days time, and I'll let you know how it went.
Okay. Some last words, final words, advice, words for anyone that's going through what you're going through. I give you the floor.
Well, it's I have it very easy. I might be. In fact, my attorney said that they'd never seen anybody get 30 days for this particular violation. The typical course of action for this type of misdemeanor is a warning letter. We couldn't find any precedent for people getting 30 days other than, like the guy that owned the poultry farm that he had a salmonella breakout and they poisoned 37,000 people. He got 30 days in jail. It's I have it very easy though, going in, 30 days. So I'm not sure a lot of the audience will relate, but my heart goes out to those that have to go in for extended period of times, like yourself. And so I don't know that I'm going to be one that is qualified to offer advice to those that are having a sentence that's going to be much different than mine. But I will say that preparation did help my mindset, and essentially I got all my preparation from your channel. I found,
you just made my whole day, my whole week. Thank you.
And not only did it help me, but your channel really helped my wife feel better.
See, that's where my heart goes out to the families. Thank God you're only going to do 30 days, but we actually are leaving our families, and we made that decision somewhere along the way. We do this to our families, and until you can take that accountability, it's not that it was a Tuesday and it was windy. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going. No, you actually did this to your family. So if they don't want to wait for you for your 5 or 7 years, guess what? You need to live with that.
Yeah, that's right. And I told my wife that I was leaving. I said, I'm sorry. This is my fault. Made some mistakes on the label, and it's interesting because it was everything that I was doing other than the label violation, but the misbranding violation in the state of Utah, it's completely legal to use non-drugs to treat disease under the state statute. But because the federal statute trumps state statute, you're screwed. They don't really care what the state statute says. It's federal law trumps state law. So
they battle with like the marijuana laws, but federal trumps that. But exactly. Federal trumps everything. I could talk on my cell phone in a state and get pulled over, but federal says I can talk on my cell phone. So how come it doesn't trump that one? But
sounds good. I appreciate you, Sean, and
Hey,
wish
have fun,
everybody,
have
wish
fun, man.
everybody
Have fun, and just get to know people and work on yourself. And you're gonna come out there with so much knowledge. Really, the knowledge that you get every day, that experience, you can't pay for that, man.
yeah,
You're,
yeah,
I
exactly.
really, and I want to talk to you in 30 days. You're gonna know what I'm talking about. The knowledge, that the life experience that you're gonna go through, even in 30 days, it's gonna change you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I'm
Either
excited
positive
for
or
it.
negative. I think with you, positive.
I'm excited for it. So thank you so much, brother. God
Okay, man.
bless.
God bless. Okay, thanks.
Talk to you soon.
You bet. All right, guys, I'm hanging up here. Thanks for watching. And any questions, comments, just leave them down below, and or call me. The numbers on all the videos. Thanks, guys.